Hey guys, Josh here, welcome to my review of the F1 2015 Russian Grand Prix. This was the 15th round of the season then, and I really enjoyed this race. For me, it was certainly around the kind of 4th, 5th kind of best race of the season. I really did enjoy it, mainly because Sergio Perez was on the podium admittedly. Just great battling as well throughout the field. I really enjoyed it. Of course, not everyone will enjoy it as much, but as usual, we'll be going through everyone's race and seeing how they did. Just for some of you guys that may not know what was going on with certain drivers we didn't really see a lot on screen, I'll just be letting you know the story of the race for every single driver on the F1 2015 grid. Anyway, before we get into this review, I thought I'd do something slightly different, seeing as Sergio Perez was on the podium, which of course I'm absolutely buzzing about. I'm going to be doing a giveaway where basically you could win either a Mark Webber book, an F1 2010 season review, or a Force India 2013 cap. So of course, cap from the 2013 season for Force India, Mark Webber's new book Aussie Grit, or an F1 2010 season review, which of course, spoiler alert, was a fantastic season won by Sebastian Vettel, went down to the final round, and all of them would be really cool I think to win. I'm just going to be giving away one of those though, so if you do win the giveaway, you'll have a choice of the three. So say if you've already got the F1 2010 season review, and of course you can go for the Mark Webber book, or of course you can go for the Force India cap, and of course if you're a Force India fan you can go for that, but if you're not, there's the book and the DVD there for you instead. Anyway, let's get into the race review then, starting off with, let's do a bit differently. We're going to start off with Sergio Perez coming home in 3rd place, his first podium since Bahrain 2014. As a massive fan of his, I was just so happy to see. It was literally a nail-biting finish, just holding on for those final 15 laps. And then for him to lose it on the last lap was absolutely gutting, or the last lap but one. But then to get it back and just see Raikkonen and Bottas colliding, it was just completely dramatic stuff, just amazing to see. It's what F1 is really all about, a true underdog story. Just fantastic to see Force India back on the podium where they truly deserve. As for Perez's teammate Hülkenberg, dismal race for him, lost it going into turn 2. Just kind of driver error from Nick Hülkenberg, a rare mistake really, and just very unlucky. It's a bit of a shame though, because he could easily have had 2 Force Indies in the top 6. I think Perez would have probably still beaten Hülkenberg, but you never know. Hülkenberg on the other hand, was quicker than Perez in a lot of the sessions in the weekend so far. So unlucky for Hülkenberg, but at the end of the day it was down to his driver error and big points lost for Hülkenberg. Perez now well clear of him in the drivers' standings. Let's move on to talk about the race leader though, Lewis Hamilton, securing the Constructors' Championship for Mercedes after a post-race decision on the Kimi Raikkonen's part, but I'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, great drive from Lewis Hamilton. There was a bit of, I think, problems towards the end of the race for him, but he managed them very calmly and went on to take his 42nd win of his career. Really amazing stuff. Of course, inherited the lead after Rosberg had that failure with his brake pedal. Didn't really get to see the battle between Rosberg and Hamilton, which is a big shame, because I thought we could have actually had a genuine battle between Hamilton and Rosberg in this race. I certainly felt it was heading that way, because I didn't really see Rosberg pulling away from Hamilton, and I kind of felt that we might have got a bit of a battle there, but sadly we didn't get to see that. But luckily there was plenty of battles elsewhere. Similarly with Sebastian Vettel coming home in 2nd, he had a very quiet race, made quick work with Valtteri Bottas. Great strategy call from Ferrari. They could have reacted straight away with Bottas pitting, but instead they actually stayed out on worn tyres and still managed to actually do the overcut on Valtteri Bottas. So great stuff from Vettel. Bottas is going to be gutted though, but of course not. He's going to be even more gutted though by what happened with the other Ferrari driver, Kimi Raikkonen. He finished way down in 12th place then Bottas. Kimi Raikkonen did actually finish in 5th place, but of course with that 30-second time penalty, if you guys don't know, he's now actually dropped down into P8. So who does that promote then? Well, of course it promotes Danny Fiat up into 5th, Felipe Nasr up into 6th, and Maldonado up into 7th. Anyway, on to 4th place then, Felipe Massa. Great drive from him to come from 15th on the grid all the way up to 4th. Fantastic effort from him. Had a bit of luck with other drivers crashing out, but still kept his head down and drove a really good race. Similarly with Danny Fiat, had a fairly quiet race, possibly missing a trick with not being under the safety car, but in the end of the day, 5th place is really good for him. Felipe Nasr, P6 for him and Sauber. That's absolutely massive. That's comfortably put them ahead of McLaren in the constructors' standings, and now that 9th place is that little bit more secure, and even putting a bit of pressure on Toro Rosso, who'd failed to score this weekend. As for Nasr's teammate Ericsson, not very good race for him. He was hit off by Hulkenberg basically spun. Ericsson had nowhere to go, so just a bit of bad luck for Marcus Ericsson, which was a bit of a shame really, because I definitely thought he could have been right up there, possibly challenging for the points. But again, as with a lot of other drivers, a really bad race for the Swede. Pastor Maldonado came home in 7th place without crashing or any troubles really. Just a great race for Maldonado. Why can't he do this every week? It would be glorious if he could, but sadly he can't. But yeah, what can I say? I mean, a really good, cool and calm, measured drive for Maldonado. This is the Maldonado we want to see more. More points for him then to add to his tally. Really good to see. Jensen Button 9th. Points for McLaren. I guess is a positive really, but still, not where they want to be. They were comfortably the second slowest car, so I guess a 9th and 11th is really good for them. Alonso did actually finish on 10th, but 5-second penalty for track limits dropped him down into 11th, promoting Max Verstappen up into 10th, who was hit off at turn 1. Had he not been hit off turn 1, it depends, Verstappen really could have been anywhere. I mean, he didn't look quite as dialed into this weekend as he had done previously, but great qualifying for him, which, sadly he couldn't translate into much this weekend, but still, to come away with a point. So, I'm sorry, I said before, Toro Rosso didn't score a point. Yes, they actually did, with Max Verstappen, of course, finishing in 10th place. Valtteri Bottas was down in 12th, of course, after being hit by Kimi Räikkönen. Räikkönen maybe got away slightly, really, I guess, with a 30-second penalty. Possibly should have just been disqualified, and maybe got a grid penalty for the next race, but that's the steward's, decision, and that is final. Merry was 13th and Stevens 14th. Great to see Merry ahead of Stevens on his return to Formula 1. That's a big statement, I think, from Merry. We won't see him again until Abu Dhabi, though, I believe, so bit of a shame for Merry, because he did have a really good race. Stevens had a very poor race. After he pitched for the first time, he actually flat spotted his tyres, which meant he had to come in, I believe, like a lap after he just pitted, so 2 pit stops in a space of a few laps, I think. Wasn't the best for Will Stevens, and he finished way down in 14th. As for the retirement, Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Romain Grosjean, Nico Rosberg, Nico Hulkenberg and Marcus Ericsson all failed to the checkered flag. Really unlucky for all of them really. I mean, Grosjean's looked to be a bit of drive error, as with Hulkenberg and Ericsson, but for Rosberg and Sainz and Ricciardo, brake problems for pretty much all of them, so not great races for them, but I'm sure they'll be back fighting in Qatar. But of course, Rosberg really can't win the title anymore, and looks like Hamilton will be crowned champion in USA. Anyway, as for the driver of the day, then got to be Sergio Perez, coming home in 3rd place, closely followed by Felipe Nasr in P6. And as for the race rating, gotta give it a really solid 7.5. Definitely one of the better races of the season, much better than last year's Russian Grand Prix. So really good to see Russia putting on a great show. Don't forget to enter the giveaway if you guys haven't already. I'll announce the winner in my review of the American Grand Prix, of course, in 2 weeks' time. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.